"I don't expect you to understand. I'm used to that," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper, the kind that gets swallowed by the evening air. I didn't answer immediately. We were sitting on the same old park bench, the kind that had probably heard 1,000 tragedies and forgotten none of them. The sun was bleeding into the horizon, and that heavy, calm silence was settling in. I looked at her, really looked at her. She didn't look like a homeless person yet. She just looked exhausted. Her clothes were clean but wrinkled, like they'd been stuffed into a bag in a hurry. She was wearing a light jacket that wasn't quite thick enough for the coming night. Everything about her posture told a story of a long, invisible fight. But her eyes were the part that stayed with you. They were tired, sure, but behind that exhaustion was a flickering warmth, a kindness that years of pain hadn't managed to snuff out. "I understand," I finally said. She turned to me, her brow furrowing in genuine surprise. "How could you?" "Because the eyes don't lie," I said gently. "Who did this to you?" She didn't cry. Instead, she laughed. It was a sharp, hollow sound, the kind of laugh people use when crying feels too heavy to carry. "My stepbrother," she said. "And the worst part? I believed him." She lowered her gaze, watching her fingers tremble. "My parents divorced when I was 13, she began. "It wasn't a war. There were no plates smashing, just silence. One day they stopped talking, and then they stopped trying. My mom left the country a few months later. She told me she'd come back for me. She promised. But she never did." She paused, the memory clearly tasting bitter. "I stayed with my dad. He tried, I think. But he worked all the time. A year later, he remarried. My stepmother wasn't a villain. She never hit me. She never shouted. She just didn't see me. I wasn't her daughter. I was just a ghost who lived in the guest room. That kind of loneliness is a strange thing. You're surrounded by people, you hear their laughter through the walls, but you feel completely invisible." Then, she told me about him. Her stepbrother. He was 17 when they met. He was the only one who noticed when she was quiet. He asked about her day. He made her laugh. For a girl who had been a ghost for years, he was the only person who made her feel like she had a heartbeat. "I was young. I was lonely," she whispered, her fingers tightening on the edge of the bench. I didn't see the cage he was building around me. At first it was just secrets. Then it was promises. "Don't tell anyone," he'd say. "They won't understand us." And then the walls closed in. For 4 years, she lived in a prison of silence. He controlled who she talked to, what she thought, and how she felt. She stayed because she thought it was her fault. She thought if she spoke, the whole house, the only home she had, would shatter. "So I endured it," she said, her voice dropping. "Every day, every night. No one noticed, no one asked." The park lights flickered on, casting long orange shadows. "And today," she said, looking at a small duffel bag at her feet, "I left." "Are you scared?" I asked. "Terrified," she admitted. "But staying was scarier. You know what hurts the most? It wasn't the fear, it was realizing that home wasn't safe. Sometimes the place that's supposed to protect you is the very thing you have to survive." She stood up. Her steps were uncertain, but there was a steel in her spine I hadn't noticed before. She walked away into the shadows of the street, and I realized then, some people don't run away from home, they run towards survival. 4 months passed. I didn't expect to see her again, but 4 months later, there she was. Same park, same bench. But the girl I met that first night was gone. She was thinner now, much thinner. Her clothes, those same clothes from the night she left, were now worn out, faded, and frayed. Her shoes didn't match. Her hair was messy, like she'd forgotten what a mirror looked like. The street had taken its toll. "You're still here," I said, sitting down. She gave me a small smile, but the brightness in her eyes had dimmed. "I don't really have anywhere else to be." "How has it been?" I asked, though I could see the answer written on her face. "The streets teach you fast," she said, pulling a thin jacket tight against her chest. "You learn which faces to avoid. You learn that freedom doesn't always look beautiful. Sometimes it looks messy and lonely and cold. I still wake up gasping, thinking I'm back in that house. But then I feel the cold air, and I realize I'm free. I'd rather be hungry and free than full and trapped." "Do you regret it?" She shook her head firmly. "No, I only regret staying as long as I did. 4 months ago, I thought my life ended when I walked out that door. But now, I think it finally started She stood up to leave, her body looking fragile against the wind. "Wait," I called out. She stopped. I saw that flicker of hesitation, the look of someone who has learned that kindness usually comes with a hidden price tag. "What's your name?" I asked. She looked startled. "Lina," she whispered. "I'm Kareem. Listen, Lina, my daughter runs a small cafe nearby. It's nothing fancy, just coffee and pastries. She's been looking for someone to help out, watering the plants, wiping tables, small things." Lina didn't move, her eyes narrowed in disbelief. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a chance," I replied. "No questions, no pity, it's work. You help us, we pay you. Simple." She looked down at her mismatched shoes. "I don't have proper clothes. I don't have anything." "You have tomorrow morning," I replied. 9 o'clock. If you don't like it, you can walk out the door and I won't follow you. Everyone deserves at least one door in their life that doesn't close on them." She didn't promise to come. She just nodded, said a quiet "thank you," and disappeared into the night. The next morning I stood by the cafe window. At 9:05, I saw her. She was standing across the street, watching the customers. She looked like she was about to run. She looked like she didn't belong in a world where people laughed over lattes. But then, she took a breath, squared her shoulders, and walked in. My daughter didn't make a scene. She just handed Lina a clean, white apron. I watched Lina's hands as she took it. They were trembling. That simple piece of cloth was the first normal thing she had held in years. She started with the plants. She poured the water so carefully, like she was afraid she might break the leaves. Then she moved to the tables. At first, she wouldn't look the customers in the eye. But when a regular said, "Thank you, dear," Lina froze. She looked up, startled. Someone had seen her. She wasn't invisible anymore. Weeks passed. The shadows under her eyes began to fade. One afternoon, we sat outside during her break. The sun was hitting her face, and for the first time, she looked her age. "You look different," I told her. She smiled faintly. "I feel quieter," she said, watching the steam rise from her tea. "The noise in my head, the fear, it's fading. I didn't think I could start again. I really didn't." She picked up her watering can and stood up. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was beginning, because sometimes all a person needs to find their way back is a single person who believes they can. And for Lina, the long walk home didn't lead back to a house. It led to herself.